All right, so we're back here at Mummer Machine, and we're doing a quick 2.8 update. This will be an actual official 2.8 update. I don't think we've done one in a while. We did the flat tap it cam wear path and a couple little things in a shop update. I don't think we've actually done an official 2.8 update. So let's dig into it. Got the block honed and cleaned. I know I showed you that a while back. And we've went ahead and we mocked up the crank. So we got the pistons, and I talked about the pistons in a shop update a few weeks back. So I think, you know, you can see some better pictures of them if you go back to our last shop update. But what we're doing is we're putting them in the block, and we're actually checking our deck clearance, you know, how close the piston comes to the top of the deck, because we are using a rod from a different engine, and we did a little stroking on the crank and so on and so forth. Now we want to make sure that all the math and all the ideas are working out. So far it looks so good. The block's got a little taper in it like this, and it's really common for OEM machining, but it's only about 2.5 thou. So, you know, we have 0 to 1 piston in the hole here, and about 3 here on the other end. So I'm really pretty good with that. The pistons we have made have a 2.5 cc speed blister on the top, or a little dome. And it's what we needed to get to our 10.25 to 1. The idea kind of came from the late model 3-liter flex fuel piston. So just a very simple little space filler, nothing trick or intricate. And you know, we were just, you know, you want to check, make sure the pistons fit good, have good clearance. I think we set it up at 3.5, something like that. And they're a 4032 alloy, so they don't need a ton like the 2618s. They need more. And then what we also did is we came over here, and we put in all of our main bearings, and we set up our dial bore gauge, and we checked our bearing clearances on the mains, and it was slightly tighter than I thought. I thought it was going to be about 2.2 or 2.3, but it's showing me about 1.9-ish. On average, you know, 1.8 to 2.0 is, you know, that's not 0.2 thou, is pretty common. Crank spins nice. We had the crank balanced. I did a little bit of ODing on the crank just so that we didn't have to get really crazy with the hole drilling, because as you guys saw before, we did take some weight out of the rotating assembly, so definitely ought to rebalance it after you do that. So we did check the in-play in the crankshaft, which is the thrusting surface this way. It's got about 4 thousandths, which is it's fine. You know, I mean, it could be 3-ish to probably 7, I guess, is what you'd call ideal. Definitely wouldn't want to see less than 3. Like 4 is probably the minimum, but you don't really want a lot more than 7 or 8. And it's not that it really hurts anything. It's just, you know, you can start getting some backlash if you have a timing chain or even some distributor stuff. But 4 thousandths is great. I'm happy with 4. So the last thing we'll talk about on the cam, we did get the cam in, and took a little while. You got to remember, these things have a gear-driven cam, so the cam spins backwards. And what happened is when they ground it, they put the master I chose on the intake and the one I chose for the intake on the exhaust. So we ended up having to send it back, but it's not too far-fetched. You know, when the cam spins backwards, the lobe phasing, you could confuse it. So it was a simple mistake. We got it fixed. But we ended up using the ISKI 904 and the 903 masters, And the cam's basically a 226, 234, and it's on the 109 lobe center. Now, one thing Isky never quite had the rocker ratio figured out. They assume these engines are 1.6, and I think they're more like 1.46. So they were calling the lift 470 and 464, but I really think it's more like 429 and 423. And I'm really good with that. This head, if you watched any of the iron porting videos, this cylinder head does a whole lot in a hurry, and it's not really all that happy being up at high lifts. There are a lot of guys that are out there talking about high ratio rockers and things like that for this particular engine. So far, I just don't really see the need for any of that. You know, the official, or not the official, but the original shaft mounted rocker system is just a really nice rigid piece, and you know, we're very much capable of getting to lifts, you know, where the head is in its happy zone. So my plan is to leave all the basic valve train alone. What else? Yeah, not too much. I mean, we have most of the parts for this thing right now. We got the oil pump in, we got the timing set. We have lifters, cam, crank rods, pistons, bearings. The heads are pretty much done. But basically what's really going on is we've got our Y-block thing going on, and that project has been on hold for got over almost a year. You know, we've had some big projects going on at both my house and John's house, so the old 2.8's got second billing out here in the shop right now, but it's okay because we're still kind of just in the trial assemble phase. We're still just checking out, making sure that, you know, when we go to put this thing together, it's, you know, things are going to go smooth. So anyway, hope you guys liked it. It's Saturday in here. Might do a little work and then got to go home and frame up walls in the shop and work at home. So have a good one, guys. Hit like, subscribe, all that cool jazz. Follow along with this 2.8 project, and have a good one. Bye.